Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, imagine breathing in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow feelings of tension to just leave your body. Breathing in and breathing out, and noticing that with your eyes closed, more of your attention is focused on the sound of my voice. And I want you to imagine that as you breathe in, you're breathing in a feeling of resourcefulness. And when you exhale, feelings of tension, stress, or worry is leaving your body in your outward breath. That's right. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. That's right. And I want you to scan your body for all those times that you've tried to lose weight, that you've told yourself that you should be slimmer, you should be thinner. Scan your body for a feeling of maybe pressure or struggle or stress. Because most of the times that you've tried to lose weight, it wasn't enjoyable. It was stressful. Perhaps you felt that it was something you should do, you have to do. Maybe you felt that even if you tried, you're not likely to get to where you were because you're different now. Different hormones, different age. And maybe when you tried these things and they didn't work, maybe you felt like a failure, maybe guilty. Maybe there was a voice of criticism. I want you to scan your body for where you feel these things. And just point to where you feel them. That's it. Because if we're going to start a new journey, why would you hold on to the things that held you back? I want you to feel there is a weight to those feelings. And I want you to put your hand to where you feel like they were, and imagine pulling it out of your chest and holding it in front of you. Almost like you're pulling it out of your body. So that feeling that used to be inside you is now out of you. And when you feel like it's in your hand rather than in your body, just let me know by nodding your head. That's it. Just pull it away so it's no longer touching your body. So you get a sense that all those feelings now exist in the palm of your hand, not in your body. And then I want you to use the power of your imagination to just know that soon, perhaps in an Egyptian pyramid, we're going to sacrifice these feelings to the gods. We don't want these feelings back anymore, do we? They didn't do you any favors the first time, and all they're going to do is get in the way, remind you to do things that clearly didn't work before. So I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you are flying above Cairo. Maybe you imagine yourself to be a bird with wings just swooping over the city of Cairo, and I want you to imagine that you leave the city center, and on the horizon you can see those 3 pyramids, and I want you to swoop over. I want you to imagine perching, perhaps on the Sphinx, going down onto the sand and then turning into you. Only this time it's you in Egypt, in front of the pyramids. There are no tourists there. No sellers, tradespeople trying to sell you crystals of pyramids and various items. It's just you, feeling the warmth of the Egyptian sun on your skin. And notice those feelings of guilt, shame, pressure, stress. They're still in your hand. You can feel them there. And if you can still feel them in your hand, Let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine there is a secret passageway into one of those pyramids. There's no one else around, and as you walk in through that passageway, you can feel the immediate coolness of no longer being under the Egyptian sun. Maybe there are lights, maybe torches. You can see your way through a passageway, and I want you to imagine traveling into a chamber within the pyramid with an altar, with hieroglyphics and artwork around. And when you're there in that chamber, in front of the altar, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to get a sense that this is a powerful place. The ancient Egyptians had access to science and technology that we can't comprehend. The angles of the pyramids, the location from an astronomical perspective was very carefully thought, and I want you to get a sense that there is power in this pyramid that you can't comprehend. And I want you to imagine, just like Indiana Jones, when he took the stone and replaced it with the sand, he was replacing one thing for something else. And if you're going to give something to the gods, I want you to imagine taking something back. I want you to place there on the altar all these things that you have no time for anymore. You don't need the stress, the struggle, the pressure, the guilt, the shame, the criticism. It didn't feel good when you had it. All it meant is that you were destined to fail yet again, giving you more evidence that you couldn't do something that used to be so easy. But what if it was these feelings that were actually the reason that you were holding back? Imagine walking to the altar and putting those feelings there on the altar and then stepping back. I want you to get a sense that here in this pyramid, something powerful will happen. There is an exchange. You're sacrificing these unresourceful emotional states for something much more useful. I want you to imagine something is happening on that altar, and those feelings are taking physical form. And imagine the power of the gods, the ancient Egyptian gods, are just turning all those feelings perhaps into feathers or dust or sand, ensuring that they can't come back. And when you're satisfied that those feelings are gone, not only are they not in your body, but they're no longer even on the altar. Just let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And instead something new is forming. A glowing ball of yellow energy. And this energy represents all the things that you used to feel when it was just effortless to stay at that weight of yours. You were active not because you had to be, but because you wanted to be. There was a feeling of effortlessness, a feeling of joy that you had. I want you to get a sense that back then, you weren't trying to stay awake. It was just a side effect of the way that you lived. I want you to reconnect with all the powers, the resources of your past, and feel that the ancient Egyptian gods are placing them in that ball of yellow light. Maybe you can see things, particles of light all around the chamber, being drawn to this ball of light, like a tiny black hole, accumulating all the energy around it. You at your most resourceful, you at your most motivated, you at your most disciplined, you at your most happy and joyful are all now embodied in this glowing yellow light. And when you're convinced that all these good feelings are there in that glowing ball of yellow light, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine walking up to that yellow light, holding it in two hands, and I want you to do this with your two hands right now. Imagine reaching out, grabbing that ball of yellow light, and then placing it in the very location that all that shame and guilt and stress used to be. And keep your hands there. Feel how good that feeling feels. You at your most resourceful. You feeling that getting to become the best version of you is no longer a dream. It's simply a destiny. You have now a belief that what you reap you sow. To every cause there's an effect. And I want you to tap into that wonderful feeling of feeling that you are taking back control of what you do, the choices that you make, and therefore the future that you gravitate towards. And if your unconscious mind feels that you now have the resources to make different choices than you've made in the past, because somehow it feels lighter, feels easier, feels more like you, just let me know by nodding your head. That's right. Feel that feeling there in your chest, and then I want you to imagine something magical happens. The ancient Egyptians believed in hallucinations, prophecies. Here in this chamber, inside this incredible piece of architecture that has lasted thousands of years, I want you to get a sense that there's a hallucination, a prophecy of your future. I want you to see yourself. See yourself wearing perhaps a specific item of clothing. And this isn't too far in the future. Maybe just a few months. When you can see yourself not just wearing that, but wearing that and smiling while wearing that. Looking slim while you wear that. Just let me know by nodding your head. You can tell from the shape of your body that you are the very weight that you wanted to be. And this hallucination is not you. You're seeing yourself like you're someone else, but this is where the real powerful bit comes in. I want you to step into that hallucination. Feel how good it feels to be that version of you. Feel that you are that weight. Feel that you're wearing those clothes. Feel that you're in the very location that you would feel the most confident. Hear other people around you paying the compliments about how good you look, how much weight you've lost. And hear yourself answering the question when they ask, how did you lose that weight? Hear yourself say, it was enjoyable for me. I just ate the food that I like to eat and did the things I like to do. And as you say it, you know it's true. And then in that body, that future body of yours, think back to the very things that led you to this moment. What did you do to create more activity levels in your life? And when you can think of 3 different things that you did to arrive at this version of you, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to think of the foods that you ate. This wasn't diet food. This was delicious foods. foods that you would consider some of the best meals that you've ever had. And as you can recall eating those foods on a consistent basis, realize that that's the very thing that got you to this point. And as you think about those choices, notice that the choices got easier and easier and easier as your body got used to having amazing foods, that you lost weight and enjoyed the process. And when your body accepts that you can lose weight and have amazing meals, just let me know by nodding your head. And in the same way that you had to sacrifice those unresourceful states, there's one thing that you will need to sacrifice. And that is the temptation of instant gratification. Sitting on a couch and watching TV might be instant gratification. Having a snack, having some processed food, it might feel good in the moment, but it won't take you towards this destiny. I want you to get a sense that you reconcile that in order to become this person, choices need to be made. And if all parts are willing to make those choices, the majority of the time, to take you towards this future version of you where you're at your happiest, healthiest and most confident, let me know by nodding your head. And then go back to the very start of this journey, where suddenly you were making very different choices and your body was getting used to that feeling. That you moved away from processed and refined carbohydrates to something more natural. And for the first few days, your body was freaking out. I want you to get a sense of remembering that moment as if it happened in the past, and it was a rough ride. Maybe some cravings, maybe some headaches, maybe a bit of irritability. But I want you to recall that it didn't last very long. And before you knew it, the cravings went. And you could look at things like bread and biscuits and potato chips and just not want them anymore. Because you went through a tunnel and you got out the other side. And if you can recall that, even though that was difficult, it was worth it. As many things are, just let me know by nodding your head. And then just follow that journey. The days turned into weeks, the weeks turned into months, and it got easier and easier. What started off requiring discipline suddenly became much easier. The first few times you went on that treadmill required willpower. The 17th time you went on that treadmill didn't. The first 3 or 4 times you went on that cross trainer required discipline, motivation. The 23rd time didn't. I want you to get a sense that things get easier the more you do them. And as you build these habits, your life takes on an entirely different trajectory. That what you lose in weight, you gained in confidence. What you lost in that loose skin, you gained in a feeling of health and vitality. And if you could say, hand on heart, that you lost the weight and enjoyed the process, it wasn't something that you tried to do. It wasn't something that you should have done. You just said, I'll do it. And say that phrase in your head right now, I'll do it. And know that it's true. Because for so many different times in your life, you've said that phrase, I'll do it. And you knew you would. Even when it was challenging, even when it was difficult, even when you weren't sure how, you said, I'll do it, and you did it. And whenever you place your hand on your chest, feeling that glow of yellow energy, and just say inside your head, I'll do it, you will release the very resources necessary to do it. creating powerful neural pathways, making it easier and easier and easier, until the days turned into weeks, the weeks turned into months, and then one day you get an invitation to a party and the dress code is all white, and you can recall trying on that item of clothing you hadn't worn for a while, and it fits, and access that incredible feeling of wearing that clothing perhaps you haven't worn for maybe 8 or 9 years, maybe longer, and feel how good it feels to see a reflection of yourself. Looking back, wearing that clothes, you're smiling and you're wearing that. Feel that joy, feel that confidence, feel that personal pride, and know this isn't wishful thinking. This is destiny. The Egyptian gods will it. And you feel that good feeling. And then you step out of the hallucination, still seeing that version of you, enjoying yourself in that party, knowing that you're simply months away, maybe even weeks away, maybe even days away from that being you. And the best news is, the weight loss was never the goal. It was the side effect of creating powerful new habits in your life, and these habits are enjoyable anyway. And then you realize, as you leave the chamber and go back out there into the sand, that Cairo, Egypt, the chamber, the altar, these are just thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, and actually you're listening to my voice firmly in the present. And very soon, I'll count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, and you will awaken with all of those new ways of thinking, feeling a desire to check in the cupboards and the fridge for what food you'll be eating on your next meal, checking some exercise equipment to make sure that everything goes right and you can watch the shows that you want to watch while exercising. I want you to get a sense that you will prime yourself. Before you need to do the thing, you will prime yourself to imagine doing it in a positive way. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that you're in your own physical body right now. Because when you awaken, all parts will awaken, all resources will awaken. The only thing lost is those old feelings of guilt, shame and regret and pressure and stress that you don't need anymore. That's the old you. We don't want that version of you. We want the new you that will do new things, that will take you to the very life that you will enjoy most. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.